Good body every morning. My name is Brian. How are you?
I'm Jamal. I'm great. How are you?
Good body every morning. Wow. Hey, y'all. It's Tony.
So, Tony, you know we're trying to be like the Simpsons and have a different intro each time we come on, so I couldn't think of nothing. So I just said that.
That's perfect. That's funny. Because I wouldn't have thought about that at all.
It is taco.
Let's go.
It is Taco Tuesday, so I always
Uh,
say good morning to my kids. I always say Buenos tacos. I don't know why, but it fits today. So Buenos tacos, everybody. Welcome to episode 95, season 2. Yeah.
after eating all that barbecue yesterday, I don't want to eat nothing the rest of the week.
Nothing or no more barbecue.
No, nothing.
He
Yeah, I
had
got that.
quite a
I got that
quite
because
a
by the
bit.
time we get off here, you'll be like, I'm going to get, and he's either going to be
Oh
fried.
no, I just ate
Pizza.
McDonald's breakfast this morning.
Oh, so then don't say you don't want to eat nothing else.
But I don't even know why I wanted to eat that because I just needed something on my stomach. I'll be like passing out during the show. Hungry.
Ah,
You're like, "Mm."
That's funny.
morning, Marcus.
Hey, Marcus.
Buenos tacos, Marcus.
You know how we do. All right, we're gonna
No.
start our new show, the Froboroughs, on like Fridays. Marcus, we need to get our fros like the Michael Jackson family.
Mhm.
Mine is almost there. I just keep patting it down.
No, that'll be cool. Yeah, that'll be cool. Very, very cool.
Kind of bushy
Okay,
today.
so we are going to put the link to come on the show in the comments right now. I love it.
Uh-oh, he left the group. Does that
What
mean
do
he cut his
got,
hair?
bald head? You got a bald head?
I don't know.
So
I see it anymore.
today, for Tony Talks, we're just gonna talk about it, literally. Not have a big, a guest or anything like that. I have some lined up, but one that we were gonna have come on today had to cancel. That was Nick from Altadena Town Council. And so I just decided that maybe we could just talk about it. And the reason why is because I'm seeing on some of the different Facebook pages, some Altadena ones and some other ones, that people are super, super, super angry still about the fire. I know last week I had mentioned to Brian and Jamal that I was really angry with Edison. And I felt that because of something my father said to me. So I was feeling very angry with Edison, but people are angry and they have a right to be angry. But I think that some of the anger is misplaced. And so I just wanted to allow people to jump in. Now, we put the link. Just know that if you choose to come on, you'll be in the green room. We can bring you up onto the main stage or platform with us. If you start talking crazy, you'll get removed real quick, like that. And then we can add you back.
When you calm down.
So just letting you know right now, I'm inviting you to come on the show today. But if you get on here and start nutting up, you'll be removed and kicked out. Okay.
And plus, we changed the name from Tony Talks to Tony No Holds Barred. You will be put in your place.
While Tony talks, she will know. Right. So, so that's what we're going to do today. I think that I know Marcus comes on periodically, but anybody out there that's watching that wants to come on and just talk about your feelings and what you're experiencing right now is going, with decision making. I know I saw some man, I think on Friday, said he just decided he's not going to rebuild, but he wants to sell to an Altadenian. Was there anybody interested? I'm interested, right? But I hadn't heard anything from him yet. But I just really want to, maybe we have some therapy Tuesday is what I put on there, right? Maybe we can just talk today or listen. You all can talk to us, talk to each other, listen, because there's a myriad of emotions happening right now. but people are mad at first responders is something, a current theme that I'm seeing. Like, they didn't come to evacuate us. They didn't go down each street and holler with the bullhorn. And one of the things I said to Jamal prior to the show was, when when do people become accountable for themselves, right? Because if Brian was in Arcadia eating dinner and he got the alerts, and some people did get alerts on the west side of Altadena, some on the east side. We know a lot of people did not get alerts, but if some people did get alerts,
do we have our first victim?
Marcus. Hey, Marcus. Marcus is a regular. Oh, there he is.
Marcus, he did go down. Okay.
But
so you're gonna just leave a brother hanging now? Huh? I thought we was pro bros, homie.
Hold on, I'm putting him back in the thing so I can finish real quick. But because you just start talking to him about everything else. But anyway, if by chance I put him back in the green room, sorry, Marcus, you'll be right back.
Marcus, you're in the green room. My bad, brother. I should have shut my mouth. I'm gonna go in the green room with you, so you answer.
No, shut it, Brian.
Sad part is y'all can't talk to one another.
This is part of my thing, and we'll bring you right in because we want discussion. When does it become, as an adult, your responsibility to evacuate yourself, right? And for people to be mad that first responders, they didn't come and get us out. They didn't try to save our homes. This fire was a freaking monster. It was a beast. The winds were just nothing we'd experienced. For real, hurricane strength, 80, 90, 100 mile an hour winds. And so why is that the responsibility not of you to evacuate, right? And get what you can, even if it's just a little bit. But that shouldn't be, this is my personal opinion, y'all. How are we angry at the first responders that were doing everything that they could at that time with limited resources? Because a lot of the resources were in Palisades. We know that, right? From LA County, and Altadena's LA County. I told you guys last week, a young lady was saying, we want to confront City of Pasadena officials to see how come they didn't come help us. I'm sorry. Altadena is not the responsibility of Pasadena, number one. Number two, if there was a huge fire and they knew, they had to protect Pasadena. City of Pasadena Fire would protect Pasadena before coming into the county area and protecting Altadena. So that's why I invited people to come on this morning so we can kind of hear from everybody. We can talk about it or let you all talk about it and just have good discussion. So Brian did post the link there. First, he was like, nah, we're not having it. And I was like, look, our link changes every season. We're at the end of this season, so it's going to be a whole other link.
That's why I had to succumb.
And the beauty of it is when you come on, you don't pop in like us. You pop in the back in the green room, and then we add you to the stage like this, right? And so if you get to acting, like I said, talking crazy or whatever, I'll pop you out. Right, or whatever.
And but plus, me and Jamal keep fighting with who we trying to bring in.
I didn't do nothing yet today. I haven't touched it at all today.
Oh, that was you.
I Marcus
yeah, not this time.
In the green room. I just brought him back in, so he's back in.
I know it is usually us, but not this time.
Right, but if anybody wants to come on, right? That's smart, Corey. Right? She said 25 of her family left and got an Airbnb and waited 3 days to come back. And this is my thoughts. What Corey just said, if you knew something was going down, you don't need someone to tell you to leave. Because they're like,
I got to question that though, because a lot of people didn't know. When I got back from Arcadia, I saw the fire. I saw it moving that way. When you got over to Fair Oaks and Palm, you couldn't tell anything was going on.
They didn't see any smoke?
No.
Because I know some people that were over on Altadena Drive near Lincoln, and they said they saw the smoke early on Thurin, and they said they saw the smoke early.
At what time?
I saw nothing.
It was
like 8.
Yeah.
30.
What happened?
That's what he said. 8:30, 9 o'clock, and they decided to get some stuff together because they saw smoke. He said we
didn't see smoke up on Altadena and Palm, but when I was leaving to go down Woodbury, you could see the smoke coming down Woodbury, blowing.
And
so
I say
it was weird.
again, it's one of those situations. Yeah, hindsight is 2020. This
Right,
again,
right.
just like everybody
Where
thought,
did Marcus
like
go?
all the other fires. Yeah, I don't know. His signal
He
dropped.
The
popped off.
adjustment
Okay.
bureau.
Everybody thought it was just like the regular fires where you go away for a couple hours and come home.
Right.
And even Lionel, the guy who came on the show, he even said he woke up. You know, he didn't get an announcement, didn't get anything. He kind of woke up on his own and then took off.
Mm-hmm.
Even Stacy Mitchell and Mazi, and then they had the same scenario. They left, came back, and woke up. Not phone calls, but woke up
Right.
to smoke, and it was crazy.
Heat.
And then
Yeah.
they took off. Right. So I think it was still a shock to everybody. Now
Oh yeah.
moving forward, I don't think anybody gonna hesitate. As soon as we see fire that looks like it's anywhere remotely close to coming down, folks gonna be gone. They're gonna pack up. They're really gonna have bug out bags, and they're gonna be ready to jam.
Yeah,
What
I
are
don't
what,
think that's my thing was, of course, opening it up, asking people to come on, is because of the amount of anger and who it's now being directed to.
Yeah, I don't know why
Meaning,
it's happening
meaning
now.
somebody said they went to a memorial parade yesterday in La Cañada, and they said instantly when the LA County sheriffs and fire drove by and waved at the crowd, they were like seething with anger, super angry, right?
Wow.
And
And La Cañada?
in La Cañada.
Mm,
And so that's why
Well,
the maybe
that
we
may
need
be
to
where
talk
they're
about it.
at right now. You know that's maybe why they were. But I think they just were triggered by kind of everybody praising the law enforcement and firefighters, and they felt that they didn't. I saw that same post, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this, like the night of the fire, I won't say the night of the fire. That night of the fire, I was confused. I was confused at why the firefighters were just all standing around on Altadena Drive when I went over there to see before there was not one house burned. I was confused as to like why is there not a hose? Why is there not anything going on? And you have all these fire trucks. There's got to be
Until you
something they
found
can.
out later.
Well, yeah, but still, I was still a little frustrated because I get there was no fire hydrants, no water in the fire hydrants or whatever, but all of those trucks that were lined up on Altadena Drive had water or should have had water
in
on
the
the
trucks.
trucks.
Yeah.
So there's some water that could have been used, and I'm just saying, like for me, from what I saw that night, before one home was burned, it was just like there was a surrender before there was even a fight. That was my feeling. I was angry. And reading that person's article the other yesterday, or not article, but their comments yesterday, I I could understand how they feel. And but I understand what you're saying with regards to it's being misdirected. Because for one, I don't blame the firefighters themselves. I blame the decision makers
Mm-hmm.
at this point because there should have been something, a better plan. And when I say decision makers, we knew and everybody knew about this wind that was going to be like none other
A week
within
before.
like a week before. And
One
other
to 2 days
towns and
before.
cities took action to prevent what we didn't. And so the decision makers, I now put my anger on them and the blame on them. I don't hold it against the firefighters, but initially that night, the following morning when I went back up to and drove by all of my family members' houses and all of my friends' houses, and there was only like three still standing, and that was at like I think between 7:30 and 9 in the morning. I was infuriated by the fact of what I saw the night before of firefighters just standing along Altadena Drive with fire trucks. Because my point was when I got into discussions with regards to what I saw on that night and then what I witnessed the morning of, my thing was if the firefighters weren't going to use the water on their fire trucks, they could have came by Uber. They could have came on anything, bikes. if they're not going to use the water that's on the truck.
Make it seem like they were just wasting their time.
They didn't have water trucks out there, did they? They had regular engines.
They had fire trucks.
Yeah, the engines, but they do have water on those.
Yeah,
and
but
that's,
it's
I think,
not
what
enough to make a dent in a fire like this, I think.
But
and so would it be good if we got somebody from LA Fire to come on here? Because I think what happens is if you're not an actual firefighter and you don't know the process, and I'm not, so I'll say I'm not an actual firefighter. I don't know the process of what they do, hierarchy and all that. Now, my buddy Kev Robinson, he lived on Loma Alta, lost his house. He just retired a year and a half ago, 34 years, LA County Fire, right? And when I saw him at the Rose Bowl and was talking to him, I was like, Kev, what are your thoughts? He said, they effed up. LA County Fire effed up. So, and he knows because
for Eaton or for Palisades or both.
No, for Eaton, because
that's my friend too. I know I had a conversation with him too.
So I'll call Kev, like Kev, you want to come on the show? Because as a retired, he just retired year and a half ago, firefighter who lost his house on Loma Alta Drive between Glen Rose and like Fair Oaks.
Right around the corner from
and he didn't lose one, he lost two because they had another house down by Charles White Park. They lost that one too. So I'm gonna call Kev today and be like, hey, can you come on the show and tell us about what the failures are? Because I don't want to speak to it because I'm not a firefighter for LA County, right? So all I could literally do is speculate. But as a professional who for 34 years fought fires, you know, was in the ranks, climbed the ranks and all this. Like, I think it would be really prudent if we can get him on because he told me about some of the failures. Now, on the other hand, I have a cousin who's a captain up at Kinaloa, who was right above, right where it started, right? And he said that it had to do with the pumps. There was water, but the pumps, again, which we've talked about, if the infrastructure is not upgraded and the pumps can't pump the water up, then it doesn't get to the hydrants. So he told me, he was like, cuz the pumps couldn't do what they were supposed to do. And so then that goes from being on LA County, because they're not the one that controls those pumps. We've got 3 separate water companies in Altadena. They're private, and they're the ones that have to fix the infrastructure or upgrade the infrastructure, right? So I get it. Everybody wants to blame someone. There's anger, but I just am like, let's not just point it, because look, during COVID, everybody praised every first responder that there was, right? During the pandemic, whether you were a delivery driver or a nurse or whatever. Now this happens. Let's blame those same people because they didn't do enough. And I just hate to see people blamed for something that even if every truck had water or they had water trucks out there, we weren't going to win this battle. The way this battle would have been won was fast check being dropped and water being dropped. And there was no way helicopters or firefighters in airplanes could get up because of the winds. So I mean, it's super unfortunate and it's super angering, but it's just like, I don't know, Marcus, if, and I do want to have Kev on, and I even asked my cousin who's with LA Fire now, who's a captain, but it's just like, where do we really, where do we channel that to? You know what I mean? Because I hate for any first responder to be blamed for something that truly wasn't in their control. That's how I feel. It wasn't in their control.
I mean, we know that now too, and I'm sure it's about more about perception, right, Marcus? The way it looked. Yeah, it looks like he's
Marcus
stuck.
Is frozen.
It sounded to me like when what Marcus was saying is when he went down there, and they're just lined up. It's like, come on, guys, what's happening? And the perception is y'all should have done something. But I think in reality, after we figured out everything that was going on, we realized that, you know, wasn't anything anybody could do. There wasn't enough water. Even if stuff was able to be pumped up to where it needed to go, it wasn't designed to fight every house on every block
at the same time.
And 90% of Altadena. And I think afterwards, again, is the easier way to kind of see that. Mm-hmm. So the fact that folks are angry at the first responders at this point, I think it's ill-founded, to be honest.
Yeah,
especially after all this stuff.
Yeah. And that's how I feel. That's how I feel now at this point too. I mean, you know, after processes and everything, and hearing all the different failures, right? But I would think, or I feel that what would be helpful for all of us to heal and to gain that better understanding and that piece of we did all we could, is for the city officials and everything to stand up in front and accept and own up the failures, and give us some assurity that those failures are not going to happen again, because we're putting this, that, and this in place to prevent a future thing. But for us all as a community to be left with our emotions and what we experienced that night and the next morning and the weeks after, that's why there's so much anger, is because we're not hearing nothing directly from the ones that are in those positions by being elected or by earning their way up. We need to hear from them, and we need to hear directly from them, not in a press release or anything like that, but like face to face.
I don't think that's never going to happen, and you know why?
I don't either, and that's why there's going to always be anger.
Right, but you know why that's not going to happen, Marcus? Reality. Because you and I right now are having a conversation. What if you ask me a question and I answer it either out of my own emotion or a little bit of knowledge I have, but it hasn't been run through the whole machine, meaning PR, right? And I say something that could then turn around and get me sued, meaning the county, because I represent the county. That's why that's not going to happen. And it's unfortunate, but we know that there's a game, right? And so that's not going to happen. But I'm gonna bring Kev on and ask him from his perspective as a retired LA County firefighter, 34 years plus, losing 2 houses. What were the failures that he, as a retired one, saw and knows firsthand? I'm gonna also call my brother, and I'm gonna ask him to come on here because he's a fire chief with Cal Fire. He was at the town hall I did so that he could talk to people and tell them some things. And then I'm going to call my cousin who's up there at Kinaloa Estates later on, and I'm going to ask him if he could come on. Mind you, he won't, I don't know if he'll be able to talk about failures, but he could talk about what he experienced, what he saw. I do know that the day that the fire started was the end of, I think he had a week vacation. So the very first day he wasn't at work, he got back the next day. But I will ask them all to come on just to give their perspective. Now, I do know that Cal Fire, having talked to my brother several times, Cal Fire cannot even get involved locally until after it's hit 10,000 acres. So the night that it happened, but that's about jurisdiction, right?
Yeah.
Because Cal Fire handles the whole state, and he's the fire chief for them, but he could not touch nothing. He literally, I called him that night, like, hey, come up to the house. You got to come up here. And he got in his patrol car and flew up here from Temecula, was here in an hour, like sirens the whole time, right? And got up here. But by the time he got off the freeway over there by, I always say Sears, y'all. I think it's Home Goods or whatever now, but over Hastings. And he's winding his way through the streets. He gets to Little New York and Sierra Madre, and all I start hearing is F, 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 F. I'm like, what is wrong? He wouldn't tell me nothing. He's just like, F, F. I'm like, dude, why are you dropping F-bombs? What is going on? What's wrong? He had never seen a fire like this his whole time as a firefighter, fire chief is where he is now. And he's gone all over the state. And he hadn't seen the kind of fire tornadoes that he was driving through that night, is what he told me. And he was there, the last person, I know you guys have heard me say this before, at my parents' house until that 100-mile-an-hour gust of wind shook the house and he ran out, or he'd have died in our house because he was there with my daughter and my nephew trying to get what they could salvage for our parents, right? And then fell asleep sitting on the couch because he'd been at work all day. But when I said, well, you tell me what happened, he said, Tony, it wasn't even at 10,000 acres. Cal Fire can't get involved until it's 10,000 acres. Then they take it over. And so there could have been more Cal Fire resources there, yes, but they can't get involved till 10,000 acres. But you all know, like I do, when it comes to jurisdiction, The county has jurisdiction. The cities have jurisdiction. You can't cross each other's jurisdiction and just do anything without some type of okay or agreement, right? Mm-hmm. So, yes, I see what Stogieman and Jason are saying. There does need to be accountability. But again, that's going to be run through PR, because if somebody gets to asking other questions and they answer quote unquote wrong, and I don't think anybody can have a wrong answer right now, but everybody we know is kind of sue happy, right? Like, oh, you said this.
We are in California too.
Exactly. You said this, so I'm gonna sue you. So they have to be very careful about what they say, which is my opinion as to why we are not hearing it. And they keep saying, oh, it's under investigation, right? They may say it's under investigation in the next 5 years. And then will we ever get a true accountability statement? Who knows, right?
Well, we need something. I agree with Marcus and all those, everybody affected, just so you can move forward, right? At least understand that they understand.
Yeah. I got to share another story real quick with our next door neighbor. They just went through a full remodel. You know, this was their forever home. This was their forever upgrade, and doubled the size of their home. But prior to being able to even start their remodel, it was learned that city code, you have to be, I think, within 500 feet of a fire hydrant from the top of the street or the bottom of the street. Well, come to find out, when they're going to do their remodel, neither fire hydrant, top or bottom, they landed directly right in the middle of the street, and neither fire hydrant was less than 500 feet away. So before they can even start their remodel for their forever home, they had to pay for a fire hydrant to be installed in front of their house.
Why would they have to pay?
Honestly, to me, it just seemed like, I don't know. Like
that don't even seem right. You know, if you're supposed to be mandated to have fire hydrants a certain distance from each other, why would you have to pay for something that they did an oversight?
But see, this is I think as a result of codes changing, like we're going through with sprinklers and stuff, because that whole street shouldn't have been, those houses that were right in the middle, directly across from each other, should have never been able to be built. If that was the reason back then. But there was a code change, and basically a way to get money, right? But my point to saying that is that, and this is my next door neighbor, just west of Jeff and Jody. That fire hydrant did no good.
Yeah,
it did no good. But that, for one, was an extra expense, and held up construction on their house and everything, and in the long run was for nothing. So that's another frustrating part for me, is because we still haven't heard anything about what are we going to do about water? What are we going to do about water for a rebuild, to protect our homes and everything that are rebuilt?
Huge.
What are we going to do? We didn't have water the night of the fire, but what is being done to ensure there's going to be water if there's another event down the line? And it doesn't even have to be as big.
So
it could be one block.
So that's part of, again, there are 3 water companies, right, that are private. And it looks like there's going to be 2, because my understanding is Los Flores may not even be able to come back. And the other 2, Lincoln Avenue and Rubio, may absorb them, which is probably purchasing them or whatever. And all of them have to upgrade all of their infrastructure and pumps according to today's standards. So that's what's going to happen with water. And then those water companies are going to be responsible to upgrade.
Okay, but we still in California also have a water issue, right? Yeah. Like we can upgrade systems, but if we still don't have enough water, like there has to be a deeper dive. And I have a bunch of ideas with regards to resolving that because we have floods and everything all around the country. That
Mhm.
instead of let it just flow out into the ocean, maybe we could, instead of piping in oil, pipe water to the west coast that is a desert. You know what I'm saying? But I know there's no money in it, so that won't happen. I get it, but there's that technology and everything is already happening, that's already in place, that
Mhm.
could help the rest of the country. We're all one country, so there needs to be that type of thinking. But even if we thought a little more locally, right?
Sure.
We have these lakes, right? That we can use the same concept in piping, and it's for emergency purposes only. Like, we should not have a well that is empty ever unless it's under maintenance. We should always be prepared, and we could do that if we utilize lake water. Or I don't care how smelly it is or anything. I really don't. I just wanted to do what water
To be
does and
available when you need it.
extinguish. Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
so let me
but
throw this in there. Let me throw this in there. So everybody knows about Stuart and Linda Resnick and Palm Water, right? You know who Palm is? The company that owns Fiji Water and pomegranate juice.
I
Oh,
know
okay.
those
Yeah.
brands. I know.
Okay. Are
Okay.
you all aware that the state has an agreement with them and they own 57% of California water resources because they own part of the Kern Water Bank in Kern County?
I had no
So
idea.
that underground reservoir, which is by Bakersfield, it can store up to 500 billion gallons of water a year. We should not, as a state, allow a private
Yeah.
entity, a company, to own 57% of our water.
I
That's part
agree.
of the issue, Marcus. So first of all, when you're going into politics, because you apparently got a lot of ideas that you need to have done, but we have to get down to the bottom and to know the facts before we're, oh, well, what about this? What about this? What about that? A lot of people don't even know that the Resnicks own that, right? And have these water
Mhm.
rights. And it's because they're wealthy individuals and they did an agreement years ago with the state, and the state granted them that. No private entity corporation should own 57% or have 57% ownership of a water bank in our state so that they can water their crops to produce their product that then they turn around and sell to everybody in the state and everywhere else, right? So it is a much deeper dive, but we got to find out where the money is, because the money is always where we have to look. Follow the money and you're going to find out. So yeah, there might be technology for days and ways we can do things, but even if we use that technology, but you got a private entity over here owning 57% of water in the Kern County, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it
Well,
doesn't matter how many floods we have and how we divert water, whether it's from the ocean or a lake or whatever, if more than half of our water is not available to us because of that.
yeah, to both your points, it needs to be addressed. Obviously,
Absolutely.
what the current state of this, the water situation is, needs to be, first of all, exposed, known, and laid out on the table, right? Then you got to factor in, hey, this is what we just went through. How do we avoid this in the future? We got to change this where private people can own over 50% of the water rights, and then we got to figure out situations under emergency situations where we can divert this water to where it needs to go. I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with both of what you guys are saying. Something just needs to be, it needs to be done. What by any means necessary, whatever needs to be done needs to be done. Because what happened to Altadena will probably not happen again anytime soon at all,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah.
However, we never expected this to happen. So S can happen.
Did somebody just
Did he
pop
make it?
in?
Yeah, Marcus popped back in.
Oh, he popped out, popped in.
Yeah, yep.
So
So yeah, I hope it happens. Start the conversation. I'm with Tony. I don't know if you want to get into politics, but those ideas and things that you have on your mind need to be either presented by you as a politician or to the right politicians, and regularly echoed, so that they
yeah.
they hear it once and keep hearing it so it doesn't disappear. Because I'm sure other people feel the same way. We all feel the same way. So I'm sure there's tons of more people.
Yeah.
That
So
feel the same thing.
I would only get into politics if Tony got in first. Back on you, Tony.
hey, let's do it. What we gonna campaign together for? Governor and Lieutenant Governor? Betts and Bailey. The Bailey Betts
Whatever ticket.
show. The Bailey Betts Governor and Lieutenant Governor. Let's get it, Marcus.
We
funny
can
'cause
call
this
the double
weekend I was
B's or the
going-
killer bees or whatever. Let's do it.
Let's get it.
But man, would you raise valid questions, man? Because I know a lot of people are just like, how the hell did this happen? I mean, even in Palisades, before it even got to Altadena, they were questioning why stuff wasn't working right. And again, it's like they weren't prepared to have the whole damn city on fire at the same time. They were in a position to do a certain percentage, and this is something I'd be curious to know. Obviously, more so for Altadena than Palisades. No disrespect to them, but I would be curious to know what percentage of the entire town was the water system prepared to handle if it all went up, at once. And then from there, obviously that's like a basis a baseline. And then in the future, let's say it could handle 20%, 30%. Right. I figure that's being very conservative. Then in the future, you want to get it to a point. I don't think 100% will ever be valid, but maybe 50%.
Yeah.
If half the city is or half the town is on fire, we can take care of that. The likelihood again is low, but what was it beforehand? Because I really don't think they would have been prepared to have if everything from Altadena all the way up, and I'm sorry my camera disappeared, but from Altadena Drive all the way up to Loma Alta between Fair Oaks and let's just say Santa Anita, if just all that area went up, would they have been able to handle it? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Where is this going?
Yeah, and maybe so, Jamal, but I think with the winds. So this is my thought. Again, I always say this is only me. This is not speaking on authority or anybody or arguing. This is my opinion, my thoughts. With the winds the way they were, and they were about 70 at about 3 that afternoon. Not only with the winds, but the fact that Altadena is 125 years old or so, or 100 and something years old. And Altadena was all timber boxes, with the exception of a few new modern homes, right? The majority of it, tinder boxes, all wood, everything, steel, shake roof, wood, tiles, everything was timber boxes. You could get the embers could get in under the eaves, all of that. If it wasn't for the winds being like they were, we might have had a couple houses in Eat and Go, and that was it. But the way those winds were, and that was whether it was natural, jet stream winds, or man-made through, because I've heard all that. Oh, they got chemtrails, they control the weather, they made these winds that hot, whatever it was. The winds were crazy. And I don't think with the timber boxes that we have in Altadena or had in Altadena, and those winds, I think it was like the waiting to happen, right? We also live in California, so we know we are on an earthquake fault, and we always waiting on the big one, right? We have been for hundreds of years, right? Not necessarily, but that's what they say. Oh, I just read an article yesterday that says something about we're in line for 8.0 and we're going to have major tsunamis that could come in 1,000 feet.
Yeah, right off the, yep.
You read it too, Jamal, right? And I was like, dang, I'm right at 1,000 feet. Altadena is 1,900 feet, whatever, right? But, and talking about how much of it will be wiped out. I think also because we're extremely fortunate and we don't have that big one, 8.0s or bigger, and haven't had tsunamis wipe us out and haven't had fires wipe us out. None of us ever even fathomed in our mind that this could occur, right? We know we had Northridge, which was what, 6.5, 6.9, 6 something, right?
Yeah. And that was devastating.
Right. And it cracked the freeway and all that. But we still are like, I can't imagine a 8.0. I can't imagine a tsunami coming here and taking out us to the inland. Well, I lived in Japan, and on Okinawa on the island, and Japan's an island too. But literally, thank you, Jason. It was a perfect storm that nobody ever expected. But surrounding Okinawa, like you want to go down to the beach, there was a little bit of sand, but then you know how you used to play jacks, or girls would play jacks when they were little with jacks and the ball?
Mm-hmm.
There are humongous concrete jacks, not balls, but just jacks that surround the entire island of Okinawa. And they're huge. They got to be, I don't know, 40 feet high, whatever, but they're made out of concrete and they're in the shape of jacks. And it surrounds the entire island. So even when we would drive down, go off the base and drive down to where the beach is, you could go down, but it was a tiny bit of beach and did not go directly out to the ocean because the jacks were there. So that if a tsunami comes, those jacks take the brunt of that water coming in, because you're in the middle of the ocean, and when something happens that it makes it unsettled, you're going to get a tsunami, right? So for them to say, oh, it's the big one or whatever, this fire and this wind event was a perfect storm that none of us could ever fathom happening, because like Jamal said earlier, oh, you evacuate a couple hours, you come back. It comes down a little bit. It comes back. People are mad that it didn't burn JPL and that it didn't burn Mount Wilson. Well, trust me, they're not never going to let Mount Wilson burn, because all the communications globally almost would be affected.
And it's always threatened for every fire that's anywhere
right
near there.
But they have their fire department up there that makes sure Mount Wilson doesn't burn. JPL has its own private fire department.
Yes, they do.
And people were pissed, like, well, they didn't come out and help the houses. They weren't supposed to. They are only for JPL because that affects national security. And so they are not going to do anything but protect JPL, right? And people are mad about that. But again, we got to get the facts before we just get mad about something.
Yeah.
And too many people might hear this, might hear that, don't have any facts, and they're enraged and post on social media, get other likes and get other people enraged. And I get it. We're 100 plus days out and nobody knows. And only because I've been in meetings with after the fire and stuff, they're like, and some of the stuff y'all aren't going to know for 2 to 5 years, because they are going to do deep dive investigations, and it's going to be a while. And I can tell you this about accountability, Jason, this is how I feel. I'm super thankful that now, compared to in the beginning, the CEO of Edison is taking some responsibility or accountability, because now that it's been investigated and said that tower that should have been removed in 1971,
50 plus years ago,
right, wasn't, and that was the cause of it. So what did they do 3 weeks ago? They had crews up there being dropped by helicopters, put on a tower to tear it down. It's gone. So if nothing else, when these torts all settle, right? This is my personal opinion. I don't think anybody should have to file a lawsuit either.
They should not.
Edison knows what happened. I think Edison should now go, because they got billions of dollars in insurance. They now need to go and look through the county assessor's office, partner up and say, tell us how much this lot was worth. If your lot with your house on it was worth 1.2, give them that plus another $1 million for pain and suffering, or whatever the number is, right? That's my own opinion. Nobody should have to sue Edison. Y'all are fully to blame. And yes, the gas company might be culpable, because 2 and 3 days later, the gas was still on and people were turning off their gas. So, and my understanding is several houses blew up. They didn't just catch on fire. They blew up because their gas was on. So they need to be paying people as well. And I think all these utilities that have increased prices and know that they're to blame for some of this, do the right thing and take care of people. Don't make them sue you and try to give a penny.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing, is that you can't increase no rates. You know what I'm saying? Like,
should not, because they already did.
You should not.
I got
you should not. But you caused the fire, and then you gonna further penalize the victims of the fire for years to come. You know what I'm saying?
Generations to come.
Generations to come. And then,
but let me tell you, in that
solar power.
But in that, check this out. Guess who has the ability to change that? Our governor, because he appoints the commissioners that sit on the Public Utility Commission. All the governors do it. We have a governor now that has appointed some people. We have a state senator who used to be an executive for Edison, and she's now pushing to have her bill signed into law to change the grandfathered status for so many with solar from 20 years that they would get their net metering to drop it to 10 because they just changed net metering. And like I said, they still in 75% of what we generate because I'm a solar owner, right? And we only get 25% credit now. So the thing is, that again has to do with politics locally.
Yeah.
People tend to think about the presidential election. No, if you're not involved in your city, your county, your state,
local.
You got to. Otherwise, you're screwed. So when we put a governor in office, we got to see also who he appoints as a commissioner. Commissioners for the Public Utilities Commission are not elected in. They are appointed by the governor. So we know Newsom is getting ready to be done, right? He's in his last term because term limits. So we got to think about who we're going to have next time. And if they're about consumers. And I know I had a discussion, I think with my mom or somebody, and they were like, oh, Kamala's running. She'll be our governor. I said, I'm probably voting for Katie Porter. And if Newsom runs in 28 for president, he doesn't have my vote. He was our governor, but the things that he has done, and I voted for him twice and against his recall, I probably would not vote for him as president. And so you got to look at what people in charge are doing, how they're affecting you. And when they have something political coming for the next time, who is it? How did they maneuver? You know, did they flip flop? Did they kiss somebody's butt? All this, and really get involved and go to your town council meetings, your city council meetings, or whatever. Otherwise, your vote doesn't matter if you even vote.
Yeah.
Quick plug, real quick. If you want to chime in, we got a few more minutes. We're going to be on here. If you want to chime in and join the podcast and share your point of view, we have the link right here on the screen. If you go into the chat, there's a link as well. But yeah, definitely join us. All right, sorry to interrupt, but
no, go on.
Good
I was
point.
stopping right there anyway.
I will say this: we all, as a result of fire, are currently in a crash course of politics.
Oh yeah, this civics,
And
like a big.
This is a hell of a y'all are gonna tell me about politics up.
I love politics.
Oh, I didn't even
like I am a political person. I love politics. And that's why I go to my city council and all this stuff, right? And I speak up and they be like, oh, but most people are not. And so I love it to see more civic engagement, because when you're not engaged like that, then it's almost like, okay, it doesn't matter, but it does matter. And so, yes, if this is politics 101 or crash course 101 on getting engaged or whatever, I'm happy to see it, especially with our people, Black and brown people, because now you're getting, I've been into politics, mother. My mom says, now you're into politics. I was into politics way before this.
What's up, Mrs. Bailey?
She's there. My daughter's calling me. Hold on. Hey, I'm on the
4 and 7 years ago, Tony was in politics.
No way. Mm-hmm.
3 score period.
No, but I think we definitely all are more in tune to the local politics and are understanding how stuff affects us way more than we did before.
Yeah.
I know more about the responding to disasters and stuff more than I ever wanted to.
She clarified.
Right?
Oh, on the show. Okay, because my mom know I love me some politics. But yeah, go ahead.
No, that's just it. I'm just agreeing with everybody. I think we're it's definitely a crash course in civics, and we're all going to be more involved for the rest of our lives. Yeah, because I really think that we recognize the benefit. But one thing I've always known is that the local politics is where you get the most bang for your buck. By the time you do the presidential thing, it's pretty much out your hands in terms of what's really going to happen, despite what people think. You really affect change
have to make sure
locally.
You vote in the right delegates, though, in order to do the
But it starts locally because they groom themselves to move up the ranks.
That's right.
So you got to get the right folks. I just, we'll be more involved, definitely.
Yeah. I'm excited about that, y'all, because I love politics. And I get involved, and I always have. But
the politics of dancing.
Well, I'm Because you know you always gonna make some song, so I'm dancing to it. Like,
The politics of ooh, feeling good. These old 80s songs that every time some word kind of just triggers me, I'm like a robot. My bad.
Yes, you are.
well, Jason, I'm glad that you're learning some stuff from it. I'm glad that you're seeing a lot of it for what it is. Again, we're probably not going to get much accountability or telling of the truth right now because the way politics is, and because somebody in PR or their PIO is saying to them, you can't say this, you can't say that, because it sets, that becomes a liability, right? And it sets them up and open for a lawsuit.
Well,
Go
like
ahead,
that
Jamal.
one comment, I was just gonna say, like the one comment, they should get together and agree on some talking points, the things that they can say about things, and address those. I mean, I'm sure somebody gonna throw a curveball that, you know, hey, this doesn't cover all the topics. You got to say, hey, I can't answer that right now, or, you know, I'm not
Right.
sure. But they got to come up with something for the folks. It's like, hey, this
Well,
is how we're going to respond to this question and so forth.
Well, I will
Because to
say
be
this.
silent is not good.
Everybody's already. I mean, those that are in those positions have heard all the questions and all the comments.
They know what they're
So
supposed to
so
say.
all they need to do is filter through what they can answer and give us something. Give us a starting point. Give us, give us a snack. Don't
Well, let me
leave
put
us
this
just
plug
starving.
in. Let me put this plug in. If you want some answers like that, make sure you come to Victory tomorrow night between 6:30 and 8:30. It will be as part of Jamal's announcements, but Pastor John has arranged a reverse panel. And it will be, instead of everybody sitting in the audience and people talking to you and saying, oh, we're going to do this, it's reversed. Those people, the officials, are going to have to answer questions directly from the audience. So that is tomorrow. If we still have that
I
link,
am planning to try to get there. I marked that as soon as I saw it because I love that concept.
Yeah, we're gonna be there.
I'm
gonna try to record it.
I sure hope I can get there. I want to be there.
If you can record it, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, not live, but I'll try to put my phone up and record it, and
doesn't
we can
Victory
talk
usually
about it on Thursday. Hopefully,
don't they usually record their events?
Well, we record our services on Sundays. Some other events we do record. I don't know what the thing is for that, but I personally will have my phone and my tripod to record for our show that we can bring it and talk about it on Thursday. And then next Tuesday, this is what do they call them? Teasers, the news dangle something. But Colonel Asival, who is the Army Corps of Engineers, who is overseeing all the cleanup here for Altadena Palisades. He will be on the show. I got 2 calls and an email and a text this morning from Captain Corps to confirm. And that is show 100. And that will kick off our 3rd season. So Colonel Asival will be here on the show with me live next Tuesday at 10 a.m. So everybody, we will promote that, put that all over social media. And he will be, we probably won't, I know we won't put up a link to say, you want to come in? But we will be able to, he'll be able to see the questions. So if you guys have questions about anything regarding the cleanup of the parcels and things like that, he will be on the show next Tuesday. And hopefully, some of the questions that people may have about that. Now, remember, he's handling Army Corps of Engineers in the cleanup. Not nothing about the fires, not all the other stuff that people may have a right to have questions about, but he can specifically talk to that. And his PIO, I've been in contact now with 3 of them in the last 3 weeks because they cycle in and out, just like FEMA and SBA, they come in and out. So I had Brooks at first, then Nancy, and then Captain Core called me this morning because now Nancy cycled off. So he was handling his calendar, and he knows that it's a live show and that people are going to have an expectation to hear the status, what they're doing about it, and he may be asked questions about the cleanup or the next steps or the ETA of completion and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be on Tuesday.
And in the near future, I've actually provided Tony with the contact information. Some folks I met with at the event on Saturday, we may be able to get either the county assessor or the assistant assessor to come on the show. And then the CEO of the Building Industry Association of Southern California is wants to come on the show, and we'll hopefully get them on in the next coming weeks as well. And if there's anybody that that you guys would like to have us have on to ask some questions, let us know, because we may not be covering or thinking about certain folks that may be of benefit to ourselves and the audience that watches.
I had mentioned last week, just in a comment, but I would like to, if anybody has contacts to someone has knowledge or is an expert on reverse mortgages, because we have
That's right.
a decent sized number of our Altadenians that are in that situation that may need an explanation or have it on the show so it's recorded where they can go back and kind of digest it, and know what they have, that they can
What their options are.
yeah, their options, and how they should and could and can proceed in their best interest. So if we could have a show on the reverse mortgages, I mean, I know I know at least 5 people with reverse mortgages, and so far I haven't heard any very bad stories with regards to what they're currently going through.
Yeah.
But I think there needs to be that opportunity for a deeper understanding or explanation for reverse mortgages.
It's a valid point. We'll find
I can,
some mortgage folks, and we can speak. We can, between Tony and myself, we could probably speak about them. I just don't know if the disasters have any effect on the way that you can deal with those. That part I don't know, but
Yeah.
you can go ahead, Tony.
yeah, I can have somebody. I'll call Lisa today, and maybe on Thursday I'll ask her if she can come on. I do know about reverse mortgages. I took one out for someone who I'm a POA about 3 years ago, because she's 92. She has a property that has lots and lots and lots of equity. She's older, has some challenges, health challenges, dementia, things like that, but she has no children. And so her property will be sold. I do know that with reverse mortgages, once the person passes, you have 2 years to redeem that reverse mortgage, meaning you could pay whatever due and keep the property and then sell it, or you can sell it. The proceeds go, the bulk of it, or whatever you got from the reverse mortgage, that goes to pay that off. The rest goes to the estate. But it's 2 years after, so it's not like immediate and you'd have to sell it. As far as a house going up in smoke or some other natural disaster happening, I don't know. I will ask Lisa, and I may have her come on Thursday to talk about that. But I do know that I would never recommend a reverse mortgage to anyone other than if there's nothing that, like, parents or someone older has, that they don't have children or they don't want to leave something, right? It would be better, in my opinion, if your home or the family's home was in a trust and there's equity, and you pull a HELOC, right? A home equity line of credit that could be paid off from the trust. So I know a little bit about them. I'm not a whole 100% expert, but I do have someone that is. I'll call her. I got to call her and Kev and somebody else today. But I will call and see if she wants to come on and talk about those on Thursday. I do know that a couple of people I know that had a HELOC on their property, and I don't know how much they had taken out or whatever. Because that is a loan against the equity, they're still required to pay that back. And usually the people that I know, their home was paid in full, right? So it wasn't like they have a mortgage and then they have a HELOC as a silent second or whatever. But the house is paid in full. They might have taken out a little bit, whether it was home improvements or bills or whatever. That's a regular line of credit that they have to pay back, even though a house is no longer there. I do not believe that even though there was that equity and the structure is gone, that they can still pull from it. I don't think that that's the case, because there's nothing to guarantee it, right? Like the house. So yeah, I can definitely call Lisa, have her see if she wants to come on, because she is a broker. She does mortgages, she does real estate, all kinds of stuff, and knows it very well. to talk about that. I know Marcus is on silent right now, but
No, I was listening. My daughter, she's out of
no.
school already, but
Oh, that's right.
yeah. But asking for something to eat, you know.
Kitchen and get it,
The
girl.
normal
I'm
stuff.
like, yeah. I'm like, ain't there bread? Ain't there, you know, like, come
Right.
on, now.
You know how to make something.
Yeah.
But that's not as
Come on.
good as if you get something, Dad, or ordered or take me. You know,
Yeah.
that's the equivalent of our parents back in the day saying, "You got McDonald's money?" when we asked for it, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I couldn't even get my mom to buy cans of tuna, so I could make some stuff. I had to go out and collect bottles. So I can remember how you used to collect bottles.
Bottles and cans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the 2-liter bottles
Brian,
was like 20 cents.
Brian, you and I are so exact opposite but similar. Like you come from I'll say this, please nobody get offended. Please, I can't even think of anything else to say. So please nobody get offended. You come from low end, I come from high end, right? And so your stories, to me, I always go, oh my God, because I can never even imagine it, right? But that's your lived experience. Where my lived experience, totally different. I'm the little silver spoon rich girl, whatever. I'm not. My parents worked very hard, but our lives are so different in that regard. But then we're exact. Like, I'm so much like you, my brain, except I'm like the female version of you. You're the male version of me.
I'm trying to always find a way to make some money.
It is
regardless.
So easy. Yeah, I didn't have to do that for the most part.
Oh no, it was fun because it was
But
school
your
hard
stories are
knocks.
great.
And, you always looked out for the homies. We always used to drink from the same 2-liter bottle and dig our dirty hands in the bag of chips. While when you 8 years old, nobody cares. Just don't backwash.
We used to go to any water hose that was available after playing outside.
All of us
just let it run.
Yeah, but we would go to any hose.
Yeah, because in the summer it'd be hot water coming out.
Yeah.
Hose, like a neighbor or just
like a neighbor's. Yeah, like there have been times when I've ridden bikes.
I'm using my water for your thirsty.
When we ridden bikes and we were like away from home and it's like we tired.
Yeah.
Man, there's a water hose. Man, come on. Nobody swindled us.
When I lived on Mountain View, after we moved on up, like the Jeffersons,
moving on up.
I thought I was highfalutin.
Well, and see, we were
cut yards,
so I've always thought I was highfalutin.
Get a dog. Oh, shoot. I can have a bike in my backyard and nobody steal it.
Nobody gonna steal it, right?
Yeah,
you can just leave it there and no one will be there tomorrow.
I didn't tell one of my homies out of the manors where I lived. You ain't coming.
I get it.
Break in my house. I waited to get 4 years before the first one could even come on the street. I didn't tell them the street.
Right.
Because I knew my friends. I knew how it was. We was terrible. Moving to Altadena saved me because I ended up going to Muir and everything. If I would have went to PHS, I would have been in jail in the 9th grade, 10th grade, because our friends always try to do something dumb. Hey man, let's go bust that window over there. Let's go throw rocks at cars on the freeway.
Reason but to do it.
Let's go. Every time he said let's, I was like, where are we going?
Partially
he grew up like you.
Partially Dewarty.
He grew up like you.
Oh, okay.
Well, so when we were in Dewarty, it was actually Bradbury. We were in the
no. When you hear his story, he didn't realize how rich.
I knew where we were, but hey, my parents never allowed me to go to that.
That didn't matter. If Marty asked you, hey man, where you live? I live in Bradbury. Oh, you're a rich boy.
Marty knew. All them knew. Yeah, we lived in Bradbury.
Why do you say Dewarty? Because Bradbury is not Dewarty.
Because it's so. Let me clarify. It wasn't the estates version of Bradbury, where most people think. If I say Bradbury, that's what they think. We were literally, if you look at the map of Dewarty or even Bradbury, if you go right above Royal Oaks, Drive, it's Bradbury for like a block. And maybe a little bit on the side, but if you go all the way up the hill, then it's Dewarty again. No. All the way up Mount Olive.
Ranch house.
Oh, okay.
It was not even a ranch style. Don't even try. It was a quarter acre. It was big. We had 6 avocado trees,
Okay, so
couple of
I get it, Brian.
pomegranates.
He grew up like me. Yes.
That's what
But
I'm saying.
no, but I'm saying, hey, my mama drove a Gremlin. I used to pass out every day when we were coming home. I used to have to sell avocados to make extra money. I used to have to go to the grocery store to buy groceries for the damn near the whole family. 2 things of gallons of milk and stuff on a bike.
Oh yeah, I didn't do
I
that.
didn't have a basket. They didn't have plastic bags with
He
handles.
lived
We
3
didn't do
blocks
that.
from the grocery.
We only look. We used to shop
Shit.
at the.
Hey, if all I had to do was get one thing, it'd be perfect. I used to have to get a list of stuff. I hated that. But
No,
yeah,
we
no,
didn't
I live
grocery
nice.
lines. Did you
Don't
have to get switches out off the yard, off the tree?
Not with my parents, but you
Yeah.
know, them
That's
grandparents
child
though.
abuse.
Them
No.
grandparents, they didn't
We
play,
didn't do that.
and they live
I
right
was
there
gonna
on
get I was gonna
Parkman.
get a branch that was about
Even
an
going
inch
to
thick
New
and
Orleans,
say
we
kill
didn't
me.
get.
Hey, Tony, grabbing a switch is not child abuse.
It is.
It's pruning.
No, it's cruelty and child abuse.
Nah, I wholeheartedly agree with it.
We never had that. We got weapons with belts, right? But I can tell you when we went to New Orleans, like my grandmother out here, nothing. We never got that kind of stuff. My grandparents in New Orleans, super nice. But my grandfather had, it was a red strap. You know that barbers use to sharpen the razors?
Oh yeah,
That leather strap
that
too.
leather.
Right.
Yep.
He would threaten us with that. And I
I'ma
don't think
take
we
your
ever got with
hide.
him, but he threatened us with it. But yeah, no, we never did chanclas, which are, sandals or whatever, wooden spoons. Now I got some cousins that got hit with a wooden spoon.
Mark,
just
you
got-
feel a
I
little
did have the
sideways?
race car track, the Hot Wheel track. That did happen once.
Well, I never got hit with that. I don't know if my mom ever put Mom, you on here, chime in since you like chiming in. I don't know
What
if she ever
happened,
hit
Marcus?
my brothers with it, but I remember we had tons of Hot Wheel tracks. But boys are different than girls,
Did
so
you do
she
it
might
on
have
purpose?
threatened them or
I
popped them
took
real
him out.
quick.
He was sideways. I said, "You feeling a little sideways?"
He was standing up, but here he is. He's back. He's back.
No,
But
he
there's
ain't.
no
Ain't
image.
nothing there. That's all. You gotta wait. You gotta kick himself out and kick himself.
But we
back
had
in.
to walk to school up to Little
Oh
Mountain.
well, yeah, I didn't mind that because there was this morsel that used to walk home in front of me. That
There's
You
always a
got to call her
morsel with you.
morsel.
I would
It's
carry
always
her
a morsel.
books.
A
Exactly.
tender
Like, you
morsel.
want me to carry?
morsel.
She lived a block above me, and I still walked her home.
Mm-mm-mm.
Look, he was trying to be a player back then.
Like,
She
this
said,
is
"Not
since
ever,
4th
not
grade.
ever what, Mom? No,
Sa-
no hot
savoir
wheels.
faire.
No switches.
We didn't.
Hey.
It was only belts.
I got someone at the door. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't ever get hit with the Hot Wheel tracks. Not no wooden spoons. Not no.
My mother
Not
threw lamps. She
No,
would throw the
No
iron at you if she was real upset.
no, we didn't get hit like that. We weren't abused.
My abuse was well deserved. So I'll let you know.
No, we were. I tell y'all, we're spoiled. We always have been, and I. That's all I knew, and I used to act like, oh, well, but I don't now. I just realized that because it wasn't me; it was my parents working hard, and I just was privileged enough to be born into that family. Is how I see it, and I thank God for that. But Brian, when you tell us your stories, I'll be like, and cracking up because it's
And
your
they're
real
so
life
vivid, like it happened yesterday.
experience. Yeah.
My mom would go come and talk about, I was watching the show the other day. I said, you watched the whole show? She said, no. I said, okay.
Right, because I talked about your dad.
Her birthday was just Saturday. I'm going to take her dinner today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Saturday was
Jamal's
a
parents' birthday
disaster.
recently too?
Huh?
Did Jamal's parents have a birthday? One of them recently too?
I don't know.
Well, my daddy would be the great 88 on Friday.
88 is great.
88, great. Yep. So I'm excited.
So you're going to take her to Tokyo Waka?
No, I don't know if. Actually, my kids asked me like, "What we doing for Grandpa's birthday?"
Yeah, take him to the Derby.
I was like, "No, Grandpa, he don't want to do nothing." So I might throw something on the grill, have him come over, something. Well, I asked my mama because it just depends on how he's feeling each day.
So his birthday's in June?
Huh?
His birthday's in June?
May 30th.
Oh, close.
Yeah.
I don't say 2 weeks away from Father's Day, right after that.
And shoot, she might be taking them on a trip. I don't know. I have to check in with Jackie Bailey, honey, before I even
on a trip.
before I try to plan anything. We've all learned that.
Oh yeah, I don't make plans. I try to wait until the 11th hour. Oh, y'all not doing nothing? Oh, okay. Well, bye. I'm out of here.
Like, was it yesterday? Yeah, I got a call. It was my mom, and I was like, "Hey," she said, "You home?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Okay, we just pulled up." And when I went outside,
Well, you know
what's
what's funny? That's how I used to do my friends in Altadena.
Make sure I'm home.
Well, no, in Altadena, when I would come back after moving away like 1 or 2 times to go to San Diego, I would just go over people's homes when I came back.
Yeah.
I would just knock on the door. Hey, how you doing? Just in the neighborhood.
Yeah, nobody would ever have to call me first to ask, but I just meant like it. What if I wasn't home? Because she was like, "We just pulled up."
I had no cell phone to call you. Either I show up or I ain't coming.
And it's my parents; they don't have to ask. But I just thought like. That's too cute. They're in the driveway talking about.
Don't get me started on Thanksgiving. I had a trail of houses that I used to go to now.
Just pop in.
First, go up on La Corona, get over to Judy's mom's house. She always treated me like her 3rd, 5th son. And they had the best turkey and dressing. Then I go over to Bernard's mama house. She cooked everything real good, but she always sending him a chance 15 times a day to get stuff. I'm like, can we just, I always used to ask his mom, can we just get the list? And she would look at me like, boy, get out my face.
Not boy, get out my face. That's funny.
If I send you to the store right after eating.
I used to hate going.
Oh, God. Going to the store on any holiday where your mama's cooking is the worst because she can't never remember whatever it is she needed. I forgot to get that thyme. Can you go back and give me some sage and some thyme? I'm like, I don't even know how you even, where is that?
That's crazy.
Don't have a chance and give me some of that hot, what's it called? Liquid smoke. I'm like,
oh, Pops used to use that liquid smoke all the time.
Yeah.
I never knew what it was. I'm like, liquid smoke. I asked the Asian guy, hey, you know, a liquid smoke over there.
They know.
But he point, but I still don't know what it looked like.
Stupid, man. Very stupid.
That's what I'm saying. Don't have an accent around me because I'm going to start speaking like you.
I'm hoping, even though nobody but Marcus came on today, that other people felt that the discussion was good. I think sometime instead of having someone on, we do just need to talk amongst ourselves because I really don't want people to feel so horrible that, and I'm not telling people to not be mad or feel horrible, right? Because that's their absolute right. But
you done making the sandwich?
But for people,
nah, man, nah.
I'll take one.
But I think that if we just like hold on as much as we can, and then I think I saw Shauna Beer's comment on that same post that said, "Yeah, not only are they not giving us information, but they're not making it any better for us by maybe providing therapy, whatever." But again, when is it our individual responsibility?
Well, here's the thing. There are so many people coming to these vendors as vendors to these town halls saying, hey, it's 10 sessions of free mental health.
Yeah.
You know, we announced this stuff on our show. We just didn't make announcements today, but you know, and I don't think we should make any announcements today unless it's something that's going to expire tomorrow, because I don't think anybody's been on here that long to wait for the announcements.
No, we good. It's all good.
We're going to start off tomorrow's show with way back announcements.
Yeah, we're going to do the announcements quick, fast, and in a hurry.
You're like, how about you're not okay.
Here we go to an announcement. And tomorrow. Huh?
We'll have a whole
There's only 5 or 6, right? Not a whole lot.
I mean, for the week, I still talk about the the disaster recovery center, because this is the last week that it's open, and then it moves to the new location starting on the 2nd.
Okay.
And
so
it's a total of like 9 or 10 slides, whereas normally it's almost 30. Yeah, that's one of them.
I spoke about. Okay. Yeah, I'm done.
No,
I
this is
mean,
great. I
thank you,
think we
Mark.
should announce in the future if we're going to do this, just so people know, hey, hop on the show, what have you. Maybe we can get a separate, one for just guests.
A separate link. Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be
if
doing
there's
that.
a unique thing that maybe we can look into that. But yeah, I think regularly we should have folks be able to pop on. I mean,
Yeah.
Me too.
just to say whatever's on your mind. Oh,
But thank you,
kind of a
Marcus.
positive note today, Marcus. You said you got a little info about the property, some movement in
Yeah.
terms of
Yeah.
progress.
So they were it was scheduled to do the walkthrough today at 11, which has now been pushed back to 3.
Okay.
But do the walkthrough before they do the clearing. So what I did learn is that because they weren't able to do the phase 1, because as a result of having the basement, that they basically said we're an exception, right? And so they
Hmm.
put us to the side to do all the other ones that can do the phase 1. But now what they did is they did a phase 1, but just on our property, because it was going to take longer, right? Because
Right.
it was a basement involved and stuff. So they've completed the phase 1, and now they're scheduling the walkthrough to do the phase 2. And then once that walkthrough is done, hopefully it doesn't move again. 3 p.m. today, then they'll go forward with clearing the lot.
Good.
So yeah, and it's crazy. On our street now, there's only two houses left that need to be cleared. Ours and a neighbor two blocks down. I mean, excuse me,
Cool.
2 houses down from us on the same side of the
I
street.
was going to ask that
Everybody
question
else's
too.
is gone. Yeah, it's
Okay,
cleared.
good.
So yeah.
So you know what everyone else is doing in terms of rebuilding? Have they talked? Have they any of them
Yeah.
using the same builder?
I haven't heard if anybody's using the same builder. That's the one thing I haven't heard any communication on. I know everybody on the block is saying that they're rebuilding. We have a thread, that has the majority of the people on because it's limited on the text thread. But everybody that's on that thread is rebuilding. But I haven't ask the question, and I probably will just ask the question. Who, how many are using the same builder, and maybe that gets them to start thinking of talking about that and see the benefits of doing so, versus everybody going with individual builders.
Sure. I mean, we've talked about that kind of from the get go. We
Yeah.
recognized that was going to be a benefit. The builders
Mm-hmm.
that did come on kind of spoke to economies of scale. If I can do multiple properties on the same block, it'll make it easier. So
Yeah.
that's good. I've always kind of been curious about how that that conversation went on each individual's block. So that's good though. I'm glad it's going to be cleared. Now, are you guys keeping the basement in the rebuild? Do you know?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
mom wants the basement. She still wants the
Somebody I
basement.
talked to.
She still wants a 2-story.
Good.
I think she wants what she had. She wants her view
Like for
from her
like.
bedroom
Hold on.
to
I'll
see
be right back.
Catalina and all that. She wants it. So that's the main thing. I don't know how the backyard is going to look and stuff like that. With regards to the barbecue area, things like that. But the house itself is going to be pretty similar, and for sure her bedroom is going to be in the exact same location. So she have her view of Catalina.
All I know is when y'all all build your house, I expect to be invited to all the cookouts.
Brian,
I'm gonna get to experience all y'all's new appliances.
Don't trip, Brian. You're gonna be like you guys remember Schneider, right? You remember Schneider with the big keys? You're gonna have a key for everybody's house.
From Alice.
Look, we're gonna have Altadena
one day
Talk.
at a time.
We're gonna have an Altadena Talk show just on the rebuilds as they go up.
Right,
Yeah.
We're gonna be
traveling
there
show.
while they're building. We're gonna be there afterward, especially if they went with any of the builders that have come on the show or to our town hall, and go do some walkthroughs, the outside, the inside, all that. We want to really.
Tony's gonna be like, "Where you at?" I said, "I'm over at Marcus's. They were firing up the grill while they put up the first slab." And then Jamal,
What the heck did I miss?
We talking about I'm gonna be coming to all the cookouts when y'all build y'all houses back.
Oh, right.
And then Tony said, "Oh no, we're gonna do one better. We're gonna go live from each cookout of the house that
That's
was
right.
built." You know,
That's right.
I think that's where
I
we'll
really
build
do
our
want
bones
to
for
see
the
the
show.
progress and be able to
Because
show people the progress of our beautiful, resilient town. Right?
Yeah.
We come back, and especially for the elders and everybody that rebuilds. Like, seriously, we need to we need to do this and do it.
I think it's
big.
going to be part of the healing process.
Absolutely.
I mean, literally for
Oh,
everybody.
that's the only thing watching this show for. They want to see the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what is the end result? Because I mean, people are hearing about this all the time. Oh, the fires. Oh, you lost everything. Oh, this, that, and the other. Oh, it's good. What are you doing now? Are you going to rebuild? And all these questions. Nobody want to hear that. All they want to hear is, "Hey man, did you get the new grill? Oh, would you put that stamped concrete in?" Because that's how it was when I moved to Santa Clarita, and all the houses got built at the same time.
Yeah.
It was like, "Oh, what kind of plan you got?" We only got 3 plans up here, man. Your plan is just like mine. You don't need to see it. But
Well, that's the beauty of Altadena. It's not going to be all the same. It'll be just as unique.
That's why you gonna want to see it. Everybody gonna. You want some, girl? Let me show you mine.
Did you put a fireplace in? Did you do gas or electric? Did you do?
Do you have a koi pond in your living room?
Right. Did you do like for like, or did you add the extra
koi pond in your living room?
Do you have fish in the walls? Do you have an oil aquarium?
Oh. Right.
Wow. Come on, dude.
Look at the code upgrades. How different is it with the wider hallways or doorways or bathrooms or Did you get an island instead of having a bar?
Right.
Right.
Did you paint your kitchen bright colors instead of that dark macabre you used to have?
It'd be pretty cool.
Do you have different
pretty cool. Like once we're towards the finish line, if not at the finish line, then every block has a block party. That would be cool.
Exactly.
Well, I know y'all are gonna do it.
And
I already know you guys are gonna.
And AltadenaTalks will be right there with the big camera, like.
And I want to go around to the different builds, like Margot has the all cinder block house coming up, right? And
I'm not going to her party.
No, I want to go and see as they're building. I do. You don't have to.
I want that
I want to see the ones that are still building houses. Well, they're not. They're building it just like they build in Mexico and other places that don't use stuff.
I'm missing.
Oh yeah, I get it with the look. Would you say a cement ceiling? I wouldn't want to sleep under that either because
earthquake happened and wham, the whole slab, everybody gone.
But there's going to be steel framed houses. There's going to be houses that are those panel systems, right? That are the prefabricated in another place that's a panel system. There's going to be houses that are going to be shipping container homes. There's going to be concrete. I mean, like
all
3D printed houses. Yeah. So I want to see all of it. It's just going to be modern Altadena, but I'm excited to see it. And I want to go around when people start building.
The new Altadena.
Yep.
Hey, bigger, better, stronger. I think it's going to be the case.
That's right.
Because Altadena was unique in and of itself, before everything happened. It's going to be unique in an upgraded way, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's going to be really cool.
I was just talking to Sherry's in-laws when they came over yesterday, and she was asking me, "Do you guys ever talk about builders on your show?" I said, "Yeah, we've had about 15 episodes about builders. With builders on."
But it would probably be good to see if we can have another round of them, just because now we're here, right? Like,
we were just talking.
Well, we just had level 42
last Tuesday. From level 42, and then we are bringing Allison may come back on Thursday because she's been going Allison Elaine from PCI in Monrovia. And I have talked to Sal recently and Justin and Kendra, and so my goal is to start bringing them back on to say, hey, where are you in the process? How's it going with permitting? What's happening with all these changes? Because Allison called me Friday and we talked for 2 hours Friday afternoon. and just talking about all the stuff I know, all the stuff she knows. And she's going, I think, to Woodbury or the Planning Center again today because she has tons of emails, calls, everything. And she can't even, as a builder, get the right answers on some stuff, right? Because one day it's this, and then another code change comes, and then it was this. And so I said, well, Allison, you know about we talked about the 10% or 200 square feet. We talked about the setbacks and all this. And she said, yeah. And then they just added this the other day. And so like the reason I'm able to know a little bit enough to speak on the show is because I'm constantly talking to like her and others that are going down there all the time. So she's going, I think today, she may come on Thursday, but you're right, Marcus, not only those that we've had on, but some others, because some people were ready in March to hear from people. Some people are just becoming ready now. And so
we need another town hall too.
We still need to say to people, hey, you know, we can talk, or here's this builder, or here's what they can offer, or whatever. Because I got to be honest, I didn't know at all until Matt was on with us last week from Level 42, that even though somebody might have a policy that says they have 350, right, or 400,000, and then they're for the total loss, and then their everything inside might be another 250 or 300, right? I didn't realize that, because most people think, oh, that's all I have, right? Some might have 2 and 2 and say 400, but a builder might say it's going to cost 550 or 6. That the builders literally are able to stretch out and do their estimate so that the insurance company pays exactly what it's going to cost because of code upgrades, because whether it's tariffs, building material cost, or whatever, where the person, when they look at their policy and talk to their insurer, this is what you're getting. That's all you can get. But that's not the case. And so Matt was like, no, we submit what it's really going to cost. And they have a whole separate kind of secret budget that they don't tell the homeowner. That might be 100, 150, 200,000 more that will actually go towards building the house. So that alone helps for people that are like, we can't afford to build that.
Right.
Because we only have $350,000 to build. Right. But there's a whole nother secret budget that the insurance doesn't tell you about, that they work with the builders and they cover it all. If it's 450 or 5, it's done. And so I think that that's important to let people know, because if that's the case, and when I was talking to Allison Friday on the phone, she said, oh yeah, Tony, they have a whole nother budget that's allocated for it, because they know what's the face value of the policy is not what it's going to cost.
It's going to cost.
It's going to cost more. And so I was like, well, hot dang, that's good, because that would alleviate, if I were trying to figure out, and my policy said I had 400, but it's somebody saying it's going to cost 6, and I was freaking out like, oh God, do I have to get a loan? Do I do this? Do I do that? But to know that the insurance companies really do know, and they play this silly game. But when the builders submit it, they pay for that estimate. And so even though we've talked to everybody, no one had said it until Matt said it on last week.
When I heard Matt say it, it was so nice. That's why I really appreciate his transparency, because like I said from the beginning, the adjuster that we had was really upfront, and he made my mother aware of that. He made my mother aware. That's cool. Yeah. So when I heard Matt saying it, I'm like, man, I hadn't heard that since the adjuster, and I was so glad that he put it out there. So it's not just like hearsay or anything. You hear, and he knows how to do it. Yeah, that's why I like Matt, because he's on the side of Altadenians, people, to get individuals, homeowners, to get the best home for their buck, and so that was really good. But I hadn't heard it not one time since the adjuster came out and we sat down, we're talking with him, and he explained that to us, and it was like, okay, so it's like, okay, so this was the amount, here's your check, but just keep in mind that you have it's half on my mom's policy. It's half of what she was given is up to is the additional. Yeah. So say it was 500. There's another 250 available.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what nobody knows. And so when he said it, and then I think I talked to Kendra Thursday, and she was like, "Yeah, remember me saying on the show, I know how to get the money out of the insurance?" I said, "Yeah, but you
She
didn't
just
say it
didn't
like
speak
this." She said,
specifically to it.
Yeah.
"Right, right."
Yeah.
I said, "But you didn't say it this way." She said, "No, I work with insurance all the time, and I know how to write it so that they pay for all of it." And then when I talked to Allison Friday, she was like, "Oh yeah," and I was
Yeah.
like, "But none of y'all said that on the show."
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
fact is, maybe it was because I didn't know to ask that right back then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're 100 plus days out, and now we're
Yeah.
hearing it. And everybody that I've talked to is like, "Oh yeah, we write the estimate, and because of the cost of things plus what labor is, they pay for it because there is this other secret budget
Yep.
that they don't tell the homeowners up front
Yep.
that they can go on and get it built back." So that's great, because if it is half and you talking 350, another half would be what, 175?
Yeah.
About that,
Yep.
something like that.
Yep.
Then that's 475 right there. And if somebody's being told it's going to cost 500 to build your house back, right? But they're thinking they only have 350, but really they got 475, and either from some of the additional or the stuff that you lost inside might cover that, or you might have to come out of pocket 25,000 compared to 200,000,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
right, out of your
Right.
savings, your retirement, your whatever. That's a huge difference, and
Yep.
that makes a huge like impact emotionally, I would think,
Yeah.
right, for anybody. So, yeah.
Yep.
Now, I
Yep.
think this is proof of the value of us having those professionals come on, because
Mhm.
we hear something different sometimes,
Yeah.
right? We can
Yep.
always learn. And then when we have the folks come back on, we can have them reiterate this particular point, and we may hear something else along the way as well. But then we can also just, if they reiterate it, then we know, hey, this is across the board. We're giving everybody the real deal, laying all the cards on the table, and
Yeah.
giving some more additional hope, right?
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
as we're saying, people didn't know that this was available. Now that you know, you can be a little bit more at ease in knowing that you can
Mhm.
be able to rebuild your home and have enough funds,
Mhm.
despite what you were told by the insurance
Exactly.
company initially. So no, this
Yeah.
is great. I love having folks on. So hopefully, um, the more the people that we have come on, we'll be able to unveil and uncover some more nuggets, some more secrets
Mhm.
that can be actually beneficial to everybody.
Let me write
Yeah.
something down real quick, because I know I got some people to call as follow-ups. One is Kev, Rob. One is Lisa for the reverse mortgage. I have to put a call in to Judy Chu's district director, because I want to get her on the show, Rep Chu. Colonel Alcival is confirmed for Tuesday. There was somebody else
I
that we.
sent you a couple things
Okay,
in
we are now.
in
What's that?
WhatsApp.
Okay,
Yeah, that
so
was
I'll
for
call
Jeff
those
from the Builders Association of
and the assessor.
SoCal.
Yep. Okay. So I'll call both of those today. And all of a sudden, now I'm at my desk and I always have pens galore and can't find one. Y'all see me looking around crazy. I just want to make sure, because I know that Marcus has said something, that I have the people and I actually write it down before I get off this call.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
For reverse mortgage. I think you said her name was Lisa.
Yeah, I put her down. I'll get those two that you sent in the WhatsApp, Jamal. And then who else did I just say? Kev, Rob. Yeah, for LA County Fire. Oh, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Kev, Jeff, Lisa.
I think that's gonna be a very good conversation too. So we should try to get a flyer for that when we get the fire folks on. That'd be really good to hear their perspective.
You know,
Yeah.
and maybe next time, like, you want to invite just the community to come on, do one of those flyers like for that. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I had mentioned. That we definitely need that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I was
'Cause
saying if we
it
can
would
get
be
maybe a
cool.
separate link
Yeah.
for them to hop
Yeah.
on.
A
That'd be
special
a
link.
unique one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It'd be
big.
cool to have like several Altadenians on, just, talking and going through whatever the topic is or whatever. That would be cool. I would
Yeah.
love
Well,
to see that on the screen.
and I don't know how StreamYard and Zoom work together or not, but I do have a Zoom that is the unlimited, because I pay for it monthly, where we could host a webinar or have that if this StreamYard doesn't have the functionality or they can't be integrated. But that's something I leave to Brian, because he knows, or we'll check into that piece. or if we have, like you said, Jamal, a separate link that we do it here on StreamYard, and then we have it so that not everybody's in, or something just special for that day. But okay, so I have Kev, Jeff, that's Cal Fire. And again, we can't expect these people even to come on and give all the answers to everything, because I just don't know. My brother will come in and talk about why Cal Fire takes over after it's so many acres and what their role is and all of that, right? Kev can come on and say, from the perspective of a retired LA County firefighter, what he saw the failures as. I'm gonna get, my cousin. What's my cousin's name? Ryan. I'm gonna see whether or not Ryan can come on, because he is a chief right now, or captain something with LA County Fire up there in Kinaloa. Lisa, she's a reverse mortgage and a broker and all that. Judy Chu, we know she's our rep for this area, our congresswoman. I'm gonna call her director today. And then the two that you are giving me, Jamal, I will call them today for the county assessor's office and BIA of SoCal.
Yeah.
Okay. BIA, SoCal, and county assessor. Okay. I just want to, because look, we'll get off of here and I'll be done something else and forgot. And then on another day, I'll be like, oh, I was supposed to call who?
Yeah. Let me know if you need me to call anybody.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I got, look, you see this stack of cards right here? I got all kind of, well, that's all the gift cards somebody gave me. But I got all these cards with people that I need to be calling. And some of those people I named, their people are in here. So I got to go through this stack and make some calls today. But
that's the beauty of this podcast. Because you know, that's it. That's the beauty of this podcast, because you guys are doing the work. I mean, you guys are doing more work, honestly, than what we're witnessing. Those who have been elected and appointed, you know what I'm saying? You guys are doing more work than them, and it's beneficial to everybody. So I really do appreciate you guys.
I won't say we're doing more work than them. We're doing the work that's
we're more visible.
We're more visible, and we're doing the work that's for our lane, right?
Yeah.
They're doing it in their elected positions or whatever, and things that we don't necessarily know that look like it's behind the scenes that they're doing. So it's equal work. And I'm, like I said, all of us, including you, Marcus, all of us, our lives changed January 7th forever. I never thought about being on a podcast. I've had a ton of people tell me I should have been an attorney or in politics. And this weekend, I was thinking, like, if I would have run for office, what would I run for? Not that I'm going to, y'all, but I was for real thinking about it the other day. I was like, But, yeah, we need change, and we need people that are willing to step out there and be the change, because the way our country is going, I'm tired of the partisan BS, and it's gotten beyond people. Because I'm gonna tell you, my thoughts yesterday was, if I ran, like, you know how people do all these attack ads and everything, I would have my campaign be like, we're not doing one attack ad. We are running on record, period, and we are going to go out and say to people, what is the change that you desire? Because excuse me, because I ain't a politician, but politicians,
you are.
Politicians work for their constituents. It should not be about the big money that wants to, well, I'll do this, I'll do that, because at the end of the day, it's corruption, that's bribes. You got to sit down with your people on a regular and say, are you happy with this? Okay, let me figure out how we can go about proposing this and doing a bill for this, and all the things that need to happen. And I think that politicians lose sight of that too much when they get into office.
I was just gonna say
politicians work for the people, but even here on this podcast, to me, what we're doing is for the people. Right? Not as a politician, but we are community members doing what we are doing here 5 days a week for the people. Whether it's going like Joe did to Santa Anita Park or Arcadia Park and getting cards so we can in turn call them and have them on the shore, whatever. We're doing it for our community. And that's what politicians need to remember and stay in that vein, that they were elected to work for their constituents, not for corporate America, not for big money and all this stuff. And that's why they're in it. And it should be. So we got to get back to that.
We do.
Because all these attack ads and this false fake news and all the shenanigans that are going on, it's getting us nowhere.
No.
But bringing more division and hatred.
Oh
And
yeah,
all
that's the worst. I was just gonna say that's the worst time of election time is those ads, and it seems like the closer it gets to election time, the worse they get, and the more frequent they get. It gets to the point where it's like, man, I don't even want to watch TV. I hate seeing those commercials.
Exactly.
Well, it turns people off from voting.
It does.
You know what I'm saying? You know, because look, there's not one human being that is squeaky clean.
Yeah.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So what you point out someone else's flaws for? Won't you just point out what your strengths are and what you're gonna do for somebody?
It pushing. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you got it's like a diversion tactic, you know, where I don't want to talk about what I can do because I really can't do nothing. I want to talk about what this person is and how bad they are, or whatever. You know, and it's just a diversion tactic, it's a smoke screen.
Brian drinking his Coke and minding his business. No.
Coke Zero.
But the thing about it is with that, Marcus, yes, all voting records from politicians, all that stuff is public record.
Yeah.
So why do I have to have an attack ad saying on this day they did this and that? No, go look at my opponent's public record. I'm not here to talk about the negative stuff or make it negative how they voted. That's public record. Let's figure out how we can better ourselves as community together, right? And that means I'm gonna work with independents, Democrats, and Republicans because we're all each other's neighbors and we all live in the community. So I can't just say, oh, I'm going to only represent this group of people. That's not how it should be. And that's unfortunately how our country is. So how do we change that? We got to get involved. So Marcus, what you running for pretty soon, bro?
So I think I'm gonna run for
the border.
For cover. You gonna run for cover?
You're so dumb, Ryan.
No, I have thought about running for it, but I don't know what I would. I just want to be a voice, you know, and if that leads to something down the line, you know, I'm cool with it. But I'm not the best person that's public speaking, and part of it is I wear my passion on the outside, and so like I wouldn't be able to get through nothing. Like no one would ever find out what I really stood for because I would be caught up in emotions and stuff.
I'm neither here nor there. However, I'm here to listen to you.
That's funny. Nah, I think you'd be great. But that's what the imperfect is what makes us who we are. And I don't want a perfect politician. I don't want somebody telling me they're going to do every little thing. And then today I say, well, I want you to do this. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah. No, this is what we have to do together. Right. And this is what I can say I will work on. But I'm going to also be straight up and I'm going to have regular town halls and be like, okay, if I'm stationed up in Sacramento, I need to drive home or fly home once a month and sit with my people, right? And not only be in committees and all of that, but actually say and be transparent and talk to people about the things that they want to hear about, not just always clear. Would you say?
I'm about to share something, and this is how Marcus would be if he was to run for town council or something. And so this is who you should use as your mentor right here. Oh, this Lord. Brother right here is so funny.
Oh, I know who he's talking about. The one that died.
Well, then let's
Mr. Mays.
If you'll allow
but I need you to ask a question without making a statement.
Eric Mays.
That's why the question mark is at the end.
Okay, Mr. Mays.
That's how question is. It's at the end.
I just want
Mr. Mays died last year, but that would so be me.
What Mr. Mays is saying, and I know he's not going to like that, but I think he's being unnecessarily harsh.
Point of order.
Point of order. You're out of order.
Mr. Mays.
It's a motion on the floor. The chair should be asking if that motion to drop. Maybe Janelle can give them credibility and they'll listen to you. Janelle chime in because they ain't listening to me. I'm tripping, Pastor Gilbert. This is deja vu.
I love it.
Miss Worthing, Miss Herkenroder, the majority of 5, I'm tripping. I done seen different treatment. Now we on discussion on a motion to drop. All I'm doing is trying to act Mr. King by these goofy rules. And the motion was to suspend them, use common sense and courtesy. Oh no, I'm voting no on that. I'm looking at them fall all over themselves trying to understand the goofy rules and the rules that they don't have to use as I discuss a motion to drop. I'm going to listen to them. I bet you it'll be past 9:30 when they figure out what it means, the majority. And I'm going to speak majority. I'm not going to speak and throw everybody under the bus because folks is throwing me under the bus. Led by Miss Worthing, their senior council person. Remember, I'm a liar. I'm not going to let no hand-picked crumpets come in here and disrupt this thing. I'll call the chief. And I'll ask the officer, let them to handle this front row. Enough is enough.
They'll be playing in them town hall.
Yes.
So you just take your seat. Let's go see something. There ain't gonna be no different treatment to this council.
All right, that's a no.
Yeah. So either way, whether you run or not, we would be like, point of order. You're out of order.
But see, Marcus, you don't have to have any type of etiquette. You can just be yourself when you're talking to people. So if I was to run for council, I'd be opinion. Now listen here, fellow council people. I ain't got time for the rigmarole, the rhetoric, and anything else that start with an R up in this.
It's taking all R's out of the vocabulary.
Right. Motion to remove all R's.
Right.
I ain't gotta say
Can't
say
which means
rebel.
you can't say that again.
Motion to emu.
You are a goofball.
That's like
Nah,
my
it'll be
homeboy
cool.
Mark. He Mark Moore, he used to play in the drum corps with us. He hardcore.
yeah.
He didn't like to say B's. He always said C's, right?
Right.
So we used
I
to
wonder
call
why.
him Dark Door instead of Mark Moore because we said everything in D's.
Nice. Nice.
Because you're the drum corps.
Oh my God. Those are good old days, boy.
Man, it's a good episode. Definitely
Yep.
good to hear. This is these topics are amazing because we're pushing through and hearing where everybody is.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Well, we almost did another 2-hour session, folks, and we're really glad that you were able to hang in there with us. I'm so excited about how this show is going that I can't even contain myself sometimes. I woke up today and said, I got to go get the green screen, man. I need to have my stuff looking crispy. Got here late. But look, you don't see no shadows. You don't see
Nobody walking behind you. I see
That's
something up
true.
there in the corner that's blue. Yep, right up
Yeah,
there.
on that side,
Yep,
the other
Nope.
side.
right
Yep.
there.
Nope. Well, yep.
Nope, right there. Right there. Right there. Go up
Now you
Now-
there. You see-
Now he's like, now you
move these
don't.
green screen now.
That was the dang hanger. Okay, now
was
we straight.
poking-
Thank you
poking
for
out.
that correction. Yeah.
I'm gonna get one to fit on a chair, and I
Look,
gotta get lights.
just
for
went
when
to
I'm sitting
Walmart
here.
and got green fabric. Cost $10.
So
The
I'm
ring
in,
light cost $30.
tech services
and
now.
What else I get?
I have a green screen.
Oh,
That's
a
what I
curtain
got
rod.
out there.
I got a
Oh,
curtain
yeah.
rod. That's a tensioner, and I just put it against the wall. So now I have the thing. So if you look right here, you'll see that there is the closed button.
Yeah, we don't need to see that.
Not now, baby. I scratched down with Sealy.
How'd I get all light, bright, and almost white? That's a trip. Okay.
I know you hit that button, boy.
Well,
You
have
look
a
like
good
you
day,
in heaven.
y'all. Who's
Like,
going to
Yeah,
eat?
y'all have a good
Who's
day.
going to heaven? Jamal, look.
No, who's going to eat what? I said.
Oh, I ain't
'Cause you
eating
talk-
nothing.
Whatever.
I still
You
got
eat
some leftovers from
every
the other day. I
I
might have
have-
some tri-dip.
day.
I can't eat anything
Some
because I got that
cabbage.
presentation for the student tonight at Muir.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
Well,
what
I'm
have a
trying to
good
get
day,
out there to get a
everyone.
haircut.
Thank you, Marcus, for your insight, your
Yeah,
thoughts.
thank you,
coming
Marcus.
on
Always
Yeah,
with
I'm
us.
sorry you ended the show before it started. The pro bros.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I tried to hold out, man, but as that temperature climbs, look, last thing I want to do is be the one to,
Right.
That's why this goes like this. When
start
that temperature
smoldering.
Wow.
That's all right.
Hey,
I
but
just
I'll
let
tell you
mine
though,
just flame on.
in the
Go in the
winter
pump.
though, when he brings it back, it'll grow like in a couple of days. His hair grows
Yeah.
rather quickly.
Yeah,
So
well, it won't
he'll
take
be
no
right
time.
back at it soon.
But we heading down to Palm Springs next week. So
Oh, that's why you cut it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I need to breathe, boy.
Heck
Right.
yeah. Being on that golf course.
Oh yeah, that's right. Y'all going to Frank's thing?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Well, have fun. Take some video footage and talk about how you wish this was in Altadena again.
Yeah, he wants
Make
us
it
to
relevant so we can put it on the show.
put it on. He wants us to go live from
You
the
see
show.
those
'Cause I told him
mountains
I'm
right
not
there
making.
from Palm Springs?
I'm not gonna make it on that Friday.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just me and you, Tony. Unless you got something to do, then I'm gonna
This
carry the
Friday?
show. You don't
Nah,
want me
next
to
Friday.
carry the
Friday
show.
afterwards. The 5th or
6th.
6th.
Oh, okay.
The
Okay.
6th.
Yeah.
You don't want me to carry the show.
I will be here.
You've done it before.
But you guys got to
Oh.
remember, next month it's going to be y'all two carrying the show. And then as I can log in, because I got to get my hours right. 10 a.m.
Oh, right.
Well, why don't you pre-record some stuff and we'll just play your
Yeah.
commentary?
We're gonna do. I think we're gonna do a little bit
like
more
they
of
do
that.
on 60 Minutes.
I'd rather do it live on location because
Oh, well.
I'm gonna be able to show you all some amazing places, right? Oh no, wait. I can do it live on location there, send it in the WhatsApp, and you can play it on the show. That's what you guys are talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'll do because it'll be morning over there when y'all are sleeping.
Sort of like what I did this past
Brian
weekend,
don't
just
sleep.
filming stuff.
Yeah, because Brian don't sleep anyway. But yeah, because
Well, even if I am, I hear that ding. What's happening?
Oh yeah, because so I don't have notifications. I hate notifications coming in.
Turn mine off.
Me too.
I don't.
So that's why you guys
That's why
email
y'all
me
gonna get
something
burned
on
up in the
WhatsApp, and I
next
see
cold
2-3
fire.
days later.
Turning your notifications off. Stop playing. That's what
I hate
happened.
notifications. I do
Baby,
not.
can you turn this Amber Alert stuff off on my
Yeah.
phone?
Goodbye,
I know.
everybody.
Oh yeah, I know because we'll be talking. Kudos, y'all.
Y'all have a
Peace.
great day.
Thank you, Jamal.
Absolutely.
It's like here we go. We're gonna be on another 30 minutes.
Right. We're going
Peace
into
out.
hour number 4.
Right.
Yeah. But wait, there's more.
Okay. Toodles.
I know when I need to
Peace.
go because my dang
I'm
light
finna end the
starts to
stream.
die. I was just about to hit it.